I am Fridge. Welcome to episode something. I don't know anymore. I think it's 68 of War of Civilization started over. Anyways, in this video to start out, we will be continuing on with the war over here, in which over here the green are going to continue to push into the grey as they push over here and over here, gain towards this major city here. However, over here there is slowing down a bit. Meanwhile, over here, the grey is having more success as they push further into the yellow, with their strategy being to take the capital and hopefully the yellow country will fall then, and then focus everything on the green country, and they will successfully get to the capital and take it. However, the country does not fall just yet. However, over here, the Papua New Guinea country pushes in a bit further, and things are going well for the yellow country. However, the red country is also not having much of success, as they lose more land over to the green country, and the capital is, well, things not looking good for it. However, troops from the Papua New Guinea country will come over here to help out the red country and push it back into the green country a bit, and they will successfully push the green troops back a bit. Then they will also recapture this island here and this one over here. And yeah, things aren't going well. Still happening in Australia. This war has been going on for a long time, and will continue to go on. Meanwhile, heading over to this area here, we are going to see two countries work together to invade another country, even though they could just invade the country by themselves, because both of them are stronger than the country they're going to be invading. However, these countries are in an alliance together, and those are Wales and the Pink Iberian country, and they're going to work together to invade the Green France country, because both of them want land from it, and they're allies, so they will work together to invade it. So we will see Wales start pushing, taking this major city pretty quickly, and then pushing down towards this one. We will also see the Pink Iberian country start to push in. And Green France is incredibly weak. They meet up with this city-state here. And the Pink Iberians are at the capital of the Green French. As they continue, as the Welsh continue to push over here, now taking this major city, the Pink Iberians will take the capital along with this major city here, and the rest will fall. So now we can look at a peace treaty. So here we have the peace treaty in which Green France is gone, and the Pink Iberians and the Welsh now share a border. Speaking of the Welsh, they are not going to stop here with their expansion, as next up they're going to invade this small country here, that's the wrong color, this small country here, and they are quickly going to push in and take the capital and the entire country. And, well, peace treaty-wise, a full annexation. So now most of France is under the control of Wales. Anyways, let me remove the capital. Speaking of Wales, while they still hold good relations with the Cross Alliance members, they're going to be leaving because they don't really see a point of this alliance existing anymore. There isn't really any other massive alliance in the world that competes with it. So yeah, I guess the other biggest alliance, really there isn't any big alliances. The Cross Alliance has a lot of members even. It's really just these three countries here, this country here, and Spain now, or Spain. I guess I could call it Spain. I just call it Pink Iberia though. There's also Florida, but they're also leaving for similar reasons as Wales. They don't really see a reason to be in it. There's no strong. Both of them don't really have any strong countries that are near it that they're scared of. Obviously, Wales used to be right next door to the Nordic Union, but that no longer exists. And Florida, while they are close to the United States of South America, they aren't really scared of it, so they think that they'd be fine in a war against it, so they are also leaving. And both of these countries are actually going to be making their own alliances shortly after leaving. Wales is going to be making an alliance. That is the alliance. Yeah, actually, wait. Oh yeah, the old alliance of this died after World War III. But anyways, this alliance will include them, this country here, Denmark, and something that will surprise a lot of people is the joining of this country here. Why is this country here joining? Because they don't want to get invaded by Wales or this country next to it, Denmark. So that's so these three form an alliance. Over here, Florida is also going to be forming an alliance. And this alliance will be the Pentagon Alliance. And it will include them. It will also include Mexico. And that is it. It's just those two. No one else joins. But anyways, going back over to Denmark, they're going to be expanding. And will they be expanding? Well, they will be expanding into this purple country here. So they send their troops into this purple country, and they quickly take these provinces here, and they start pushing over towards the capital, which they get to, and they will capture it. As this happens, we see the green country also start to invade the purple country, as they push in and take these provinces down here. And this is going to annoy Denmark, who wanted all of this country. Now they're going to split it with this stupid green country here. And they can't invade the green country because it's in an alliance with a bunch of stronger countries than Denmark. Or, well, one stronger country than Denmark. Denmark has passed this country at this point, and they could probably beat Egg in a fight. But yeah, the purple country is dead, and we can look at a peace treaty. So here we have the peace treaty, in which Denmark got most of the purple country. However, a few of the provinces down here went to the green country. Speaking of the green country, they are currently a constitutional monarchy. However, that's about to change, as they actually go back to just being a normal monarchy. They went back. Usually it's the other way around. Monarchies go into constitutional monarchies, and then from there they don't go back. Which I think that now that's like the only, like in this universe, that's the only example of it. I think that's the only monarchy in the world that isn't a constitutional monarchy. I need to update this. There's a lot of this country's died last episode, but there's a lot of just random dots around. They're not supposed to be there because those countries are dead. Like this country here only needs one of these dots, not both of them. And then these countries down here don't even have the dots. They don't even have an ideology. That's just how new these countries are now. It's just that I need to update the map here. Anyways, though, enough of that map. And enough of talking about the green country, because we are going to be heading over down to Persia, who has done not much since they lost a world war. However, going back to the ideology layer, at the moment they are still a dictatorship. However, they are not communist, as they were not allowed to be communist. However, inside of this country, they're about to break into a civil war, and this civil war will involve multiple different groups, the first of which will break out up here. And this group, they want to be a democracy. They don't like the dictatorship that is or the dictator that's in power. And they're tired of living in a dictatorship. So they want to take the country to be a democracy. Meanwhile, over here, we see another revolution group break out. And this one wants to go back to being communist. They enjoyed it more when it was communist. And they think that the country needs to go back to being communist. And both of these groups, they hate the current government. So we're going to see these groups both start to push. Also, this was another area of the green that broke out. However, then they pushed and connected up. So anyways, this one will push towards the capital. This one will push up here and take this here. And this one will push down around here, taking these provinces here. And both of these groups will start push towards the capital, which the green country will reach first, and they will take the dictator, and they will have him arrested, and what will happen to him will be decided after the civil war is over. However, the main government has fallen, and the two groups, they really don't hate each other. Yes, they both have different ideologies. One of them wants to be is a democracy, and the other one is communist. However, they're actually going to sit down. They're going to come to a compromise, and that is change the country back to the original color. That compromise will be for the country not become democratic or communist, but at the same time become both, I guess. Anyways, they're going to become democratic socialists. So they're both a democracy. So they will have values of the democracy and the communists as they become democratic socialist. Speaking of which, up here, this country here is going to go from being communist to democratic socialist. This one had a peaceful change over instead of a civil war. But, yeah, as you can see, communism is now completely dead, I think, unless there's a country that I'm forgetting about, as democratic socialism has replaced all of them. Anyways, though, we will now be heading back over to Australia to continue the civil war. This isn't a civil war. This is a war because all four of these countries want to be the only Australia. Anyways, we're going to continue this to see this war continue. Up here, the yellow country is going to try to continue to fight as they push a bit back against Papua New Guinea. However, the grey country is pushing up and taking this major city. Following the capture of this major city, the yellow country is going to die as they surrender over to the gray country, knocking them out of the war. However, things aren't going good for the gray country down here, as the green country pushes in over here, takes this major city, and connects these troops up. From here, they'll push over and push down here, take this major city, and they will also have, they'll also take this island here, taking another major city. So things are going good for the gray country over here. However, with the yellow country, they can bring more troops down to fight over here. Meanwhile, up in the red country, well, with help from Papua New Guinea, the red country did push back a bit. They're going to start to lose more. Well, they're going to start to lose again as the green country pushes over here. However, the red country will push back a little bit over here, almost being able to get to connect back up with the rest of the red country. However, that does not last long. And as the green country pushes along this red country, something is happening back in their country. And it's not just happening in their country, it's happening in all of the countries in Australia. However, it's going to first start to show itself down here as we see a revolution break out down here. And this revolution gets pretty big pretty fast, as it had been building up while this entire war had been going on. And shortly after it breaks out over here, back in the gray country, we will see a massive one pop up over here. Why is there a dot in the middle of the ocean? This revolution group is so powerful that it just made more land. Anyways, there we go. A big one breaks out over here. And even in the occupied parts of the yellow country, which is all of it, we see this revolution break out. In fact, it quickly takes the capital as well. And it takes a lot of this. In fact, some troops that were occupying this area joined this revolution. And in the red country, it's also affecting them, as we see it break out over here. And when this revolution starts to show itself, more and more groups of it will pop up in all these countries. Over here and back in the green one, we will see another pop up, this one looking like this. In the red country, it pops up in the capital and overthrows the leader of the red country. It even starts to pop up in this major city here in the green country. In fact, it's popping up in a lot of these major cities. Like, all of the major cities of the green country have gone ahead and joined it at this point, other than this one down here and this one here. Back in the gray country, though, they are not safe, and a big one breaks out right here, and you might notice something. One second, let me fix that. There was another dot in the ocean. You might notice something about this. The color looks pretty close to another color, and if you remember from a few episodes ago, this country had a revolution break out in it. And that is where the truth behind what is going on here will be revealed. And that is that while this war was going on to try to unite Australia, another group that wanted to unite Australia had been building up in the background. And it is now showing itself. And this is something that none of these countries were expecting. However, the green country will push in and take it over here. Actually, let me change that. two different shades of green. The green country will push in to the capital of or what was the capital of the red country, and take it now that the revolution weakened it for them. However, back in their land, the revolution is going to start to push into the green country's area, pushing in over here and connecting up with this one here, and they will start to push into the red countries, or while the green country occupies the red country, pushing in over here and taking a good amount of land here, as most of the troops in this area were actually up here, because this is where the fighting was happening, and there wasn't any fighting happening down here. Anyways, though, back in the Grey Country, the Grey Country is going to try to push in over to the revolution over here, near the capital, and they will successfully push in over here, getting close towards this major city. However, up here, the revolution is going to push along here and along here, and they'll connect up over here. Meanwhile, the green country is going to pull back some of their troops over here to come help out back at home. So they pull their troops out of this major city and pull all the way back to here to come and try to take down these revolutions. However, this one here is already starting to expand as it pushes up this way towards this major city here. And, well, the reason why the Green Country has been doing so well in this war is because they've been getting funding and supplies, and even some volunteer troops from some other countries, like this one here and this one up here. So, anyways, though, these countries seem that Australia is just a mess now, and that this war is going to go on for a lot longer than they expected. They're going to start to pull their funding out of this country, and that is not good for this country. Anyway, so over here, Papua New Guinea is going to be like, yeah, we've taken more than what we actually want, and they're going to leave the war, taking what they want. In fact, they even leave some of this land, which I'm just going to color this color now. They even pull out some of this land here, pulling out of the land that connected up with the red country, pulling back to over here. They make like a straight line here, so maybe we'll see a straight line border after this war. And they originally just wanted like this land here. However, now that they have this major city, they don't really want to leave it, so they decide that they will just, that they won't pull back as far as they originally planned to. Now, they originally planned to just go until the red country had won this, but they see that the red country has no chance of winning now, so they just pull back to over here. Speaking of which, the revolution over here is going to push in to the area over here that the red team occupies and takes it. And they will also push into where the green country occupies and start pushing over here. And these troops here, the only way for them to get back to the mainland and green country would be through the ocean. However, the revolution, they have taken some of the ports from the green country. There was a port over here. Actually, the biggest port was over here, and all the ships there are now being used by the revolution, so they're just sinking all the soldiers that tried to leave. So, really, these soldiers are either going to die or die, and they choose die as they die. Yeah. Anyways, the revolution has pushed back up towards the capital over here. what was the capital of the Red Country. It's now just a major city because the Red Country, well, they're about to collapse. They don't have any major cities and they don't have any coastlines. So we actually see the Red Country collapse over to the Revolution. And these green troops, what's left of them, is just going to surrender. They see that there's no winning this, and they surrender. Except for the ones on this island, they don't surrender. So instead, this island is taken by force. Like that. Anyway, so back in the Green Country, they're going to pull all their troops out of the Grey Country to come deal with this. However, it might be a bit too late, as the Revolution has already started to push into more land as they push along here. And along with that, more areas are starting to join this revolution, including this major city down here. And a lot of the land near this major city joins up. The Green Country, though, they do have some success as they invade down into this one here, pushing in here, and they actually just start to kill like anyone in this area, which is not going to look good for their country, as we see more areas join this revolution. Yeah, it's kind of what happens when you kill your own people, is that people get mad. So, don't kill your people. That's the solution. You know, you'd think that would be obvious, but it's not somehow. Anyways, though, we see the revolution start to push towards the capital over here. However, the capital is well defended for now. Over here, the revolution will push back into the green troops a bit. However, the green troops, well, like I said before, they're just killing everyone, which they do as they take back this major city. Well, they don't kill the people over here, because a lot of these people, they're also killing the people in these areas, not these areas, if that makes sense. That probably made absolutely no sense. Anyway, so they push back against the revolution over here. However, over here, the revolution is pushing back. And also, the revolution is pushing in over here. And these two colors are actually a lot similar, now that I notice. And as they meet up over here with these troops, they attack from behind and push in, and okay, that's not supposed to be happening. And they push in over here, and with this, the green troops are pushed out of this revolution area. Meanwhile, in the capital, the revolution is getting closer, and when they get here, the bloodiest battle of this entire war takes place, which ends with the revolution winning, as a lot of people in these occupied areas start to join the revolution, realizing that the Green Country is not really the best. And following the capital, they will easily capture this major city, following which the Green Country will collapse as well. That just leads to this country being left. And well, once the Green Country pulled out of these areas, a lot of them just decided to go ahead and join this revolution. And this revolution is going to push along here, pushing over here, taking this major city and pushing me up with this group here. I don't need to zoom in the middle of the ocean. Anyways, though, the revolution over here is pushing. Actually, areas near it join up with it. Then they start push down a bit. And they get to this major city eventually and take it. Meanwhile, over here, this one is getting close to the capital. In fact, they get to the capital, in which the second deadliest battle of the war happens. It actually lasts a bit longer than the one in the Green Country, though. And eventually, the capital falls, following which the Grey Country falls. And with that, all of Australia will be united under the pink country. Well, most of it. The part that Papua New Guinea occupies, they will be allowed to keep. Other than that, Australia is united. And the capital is actually going to be the capital over here, as this country here joins Australia as well. It was the same revolution group, and that took them a few episodes ago that was working behind the scenes here. Anyways, yeah, there we go. Australia's united. That's what's happening. And that's where this episode is going to end. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.